My name is Janice Mazzallo, and I'm the Chief Human Resources Officer for People's Bank. I'm responsible for the engagement of our entire organization and operating the Human Resources Department. I think risk-averse behavior has risen among employees because of the fear concern. Employees are afraid to make mistakes. And when you create an environment where mistakes are okay to make, as long as you learn from them, and that's got to start and be modeled at the top of the organization from the senior leadership, I think that employees will begin to see that it's okay. And that's where innovation comes from. And without that environment, you will squash creativity and you'll squash innovation. So I think that's very important. One of the things that we've done very effectively at People's Bank is we started these think tanks. And it is a way to get employees to think outside the box, because what we do is we bring together a cross-functional group of people that may not necessarily get to work together. So they are not only from different parts of the organization, but they're different levels of employees, and they all have different ideas. They bring different things to the table. So their perspective of a product or an initiative is going to be very different than the person sitting next to them. The other thing that we found comes in, which is actually just an extra, is that it's done a tremendous amount to build teams and build camaraderie, break down silos. We have people from areas that really it's an opportunity for them to get to hear what it's like in the other areas of the organization. So that's been a real win for us. And we get to focus resources on a strategic project that needs resources to begin with. I think one of the things that you can do is make it part of your core values. You know, one of the things that People's Bank does, and as a bank, you know, banks are by nature very traditional. And so one of the things that we did is we established an innovation lab. And we really made a statement that, you know, even though we're a bank, we really have to be on top of what the customer's needs and wants are. And so by establishing a lab, we have a group of employees that we call the Tech Titans, and they're looking at new technology all the time. And they're looking at it from the customer's eyes. You know, what customers want, things faster and easier all the time. And so we dedicated those resources, and that's become not just something that has gotten internal recognition, but it's really been recognized externally as something that's very innovative and different for a bank. And so it's got picked up locally. Well, we've done a couple of different things that came out of the think tanks. I mean, one was a pay card project, which in the world of banking, there are a lot of individuals that are underbanked that don't have bank accounts, but we still want to be able to provide services for them. So we put together a program, again, with a group of individuals that came up with a way to service these folks. And so they're basically prepaid cards. And this was an interesting one because it was an example of a think tank that should have taken probably 6 months to implement from start to finish. But interestingly, from the beginning, we didn't set our goals and objectives. We didn't have real strong roles and responsibilities. And what we were finding is that what should have taken 6 months was veering into a year and possibly even 18 months. The good news is that, again, in the culture that we created where it's okay to make mistakes, we course corrected, brought all the stakeholders together, kind of got right with our mission and said, okay, who's responsible for what? What do we need to do to make sure we get back on track? And the group felt comfortable enough to come to the senior officers to say, we kind of went astray and we need some guidance here. And the senior officers were able to step in and give them some direction. They got right back on track, and within 3 months we had the product out and ready to deliver. So it's a good example of where again, things always don't go as planned. You know, mistakes will be made. But in this instance, when you create the environment where it's okay, we were able to get things right back on track. They weren't afraid to come forward to say we were failing. We are always trying to raise the bar. Our engagement levels are really high, and we've been very proud that the last 3 years we were named a top place to work by the Boston Globe, which for a company of our size is huge. That's a real honor for us. So I guess for the next year, I would love to see that happen again. I know our employees are engaged. I've seen the results. The results for this year were very good. You know, we're always just trying to just get better and, you know, make it a better place to work. So, you know, for me, one of the goals I have this year is to focus on our mid-level managers. I want to do more coaching with them, helping them in trying to find more meaningful ways to develop their people, more on the day-to-day. Because at the end of the day, they're really key in what's going to make people feel a part of the organization. I can't be out there all the time, and it's that one-on-one relationship with the managers. So those mid-level managers to me are really most impactful when it comes to employee engagement. So we'll be doing some development work with them. Another thing on our list is looking at ways to find more outreach for the branch locations. You know, having multi-locations can be challenging when it comes to trying to take them off the front line and bring them in to do development. So we're looking at using technology, maybe a learning management system, doing some alternative video developing and assessments and that kind of thing.